You are listening to the CittaCalcioUsa show, the only news and podcast in English about AS Cittadella. Hello everyone, welcome back to the CittaCalcioUsa show, episode number 173, coming to you on Friday, August 15th. Nearly 94 days later, it is finally match day for Cittadella, officially match day, as they get ready to take on Ravenna in their first competitive match of the season. That is in the first round of the Coppa Italia Serie C. The first time Cittadella is participating in this competition for the first time in 9 years. What to expect, we have no idea. Plus, we have a new signing that we're going to talk a little bit about, and then obviously we're going to get into a little bit of the game this upcoming Sunday. So, without further ado, let's get right into this podcast. So, first of all, we want to no guest this week, as we get possibly next week. We'll see, as Cittadella start their league season next week. But then this weekend is just the Coppa Italia Serie C, a competition where, like I just mentioned, Cittadella has not played in since 2016. And the last time they did play, they made the final, only losing to Roberto De Zerbi's Foggia in a really back and forth tie. I mean, maybe I wouldn't say back and forth, but it was definitely high scoring. The second leg finished 4-4, and that was after a 4-1 first leg defeat for Cittadella. So, but before we get into this Coppa Italia match, we want to just give you a little bit of an update on the market, as the last time we did speak last week with Enrico Leo from Padova Oggi, Cittadella did sign a new player, and it's a new goalkeeper. As we said that Elan Castrati was off, he was going to be leaving Cittadella. He did sign in Germany, but please welcome Alessandro Zanellati from Casertana. So once again, another Casertana player who played under Manuel Iori last season has now signed for Cittadella, and it's going to be interesting to see if he starts or not, because Maniero has been at Cittadella for much longer. He's been the backup goalkeeper for a long time in Serie B, and we'll see if he does get the chance to start consistently in Serie C, because Alessandro Zanellati, he is a former Gianna Erminio, former Padova, former Casertana, so he has a lot of games under his belt in Serie C. A lot of, I'm reading it right now, 56 games played in Serie C Girone A, and he has about 29 to be exact, in Serie C Girone C, and then only 3 in the Group B. So plenty of experience for the 25-year-old coming from Casertana, signing from there, and that kind of just shows you the market idea. I think a lot of Manuel Iori, his influence in this market, because he is already signing a lot of players that used to play for him. Riccardo Gatti, the center back, now Zanellati, the goalkeeper. You also got who was the other? I'm looking right now. Destiny Egervaba from buying from Renate, but he did play for Iori last season on loan in Casertana, and so I think it really shows you what Iori's trying to build. Is he trying to also I can't forget to also put Christian Bonino, who also came from Casertana. Well, not Casertana directly, but he did play under Manuel Iori, so that's another player getting signed for Cittadella. So it really is, it's starting to become Iori's team slowly by piece by piece. It's always at the start of the season where we have no idea what to expect and what the best starting 11 is. Manuel Iori probably doesn't know that either. So I think it's still going to be, in these next few weeks, kind of figuring out who's the best starting lineup for Cittadella, because they do have a lot of options, not only the new signings, but also players from coming back from last year. And the numbers just came out, the shirt numbers. Once again, if you want to go check that out, you can. But, just looking at the roster, I think Cittadella does have a good team as of now. Like we were saying with Enrico Leo last season, is it enough? Not last season, sorry, last week. Is it this enough to challenge for first place? Because you have the likes of Vicenza that's likely going to be challenging. It's probably going to be the favorite. You have Union Brescia, who have basically inherited all the Fralpi Salò players, and a lot of players, they're expected to be strong. You also got, teams that I don't know if they're going to be directly challenging for first, but definitely you expect them to be third, fourth, or fifth. I'm talking about Lecco, Albino Leffe, even Trento could get up there and cause some problems. So it's a difficult group. Like we were saying, Cittadella should be able to get into at least a playoff. Well, hopefully so, because it's a top 10 in Serie C. So you just got to finish above the midline, because there's 20 teams. So if you basically, it is harder there's a more likely chance that you're going to be doing something in the postseason rather than not doing anything, whether that's relegation playoff or promotion playoff. Obviously the further down you go, the more unlikely it is for you to be promoted. But, just as this example, you have 20 teams in this group. The 20th team gets directly relegated. 16th through 19th go into a relegation playoff tournament. But once again, there's a lot of different rules that determines whether or not the playoff gets played. So I'm going to save that for another episode to kind of save some time. But on the top, it is kind of straightforward. The first place gets directly promoted to Serie B, and then 2 through 10 compete in a playoff. Obviously, the higher you are, the more chances you are to have home field advantage and to start in the quarterfinals. I think that's where 2 and 3 goes. But once again, I'll explain how Serie C works in the next episode, because right now we really want to talk about the Coppa Italia matches, and we're not at the season just yet, the regular season. But that's kind of what we were saying. What I wanted to, going back, what I was just saying is, can Cittadella fight for the top spot? And I think, like Enrico said, it's going to come down to the fitness level of certain players and different players. But I do think Cittadella does have a good chance of making the first place. Now, I say good chance, but I'm really saying that they can challenge for it. Doesn't mean that I think they are or they're not, but this squad I think definitely has enough to finish in the top 5 at least, in my opinion. Just looking at the other squads, and given the resources that Cittadella has, benefiting from those 9 seasons in Serie B, I think they are in a good position to, if not this season, but the next season and the following one, to make a return to Serie B. But Vicenza is definitely the one to beat in this league, because they are likely the strongest candidates. They actually just beat Padova in the first round, the preliminary rounds. Sorry about that, of the Coppa Italia against Padova. So there's interesting things to look out on. But it's going to be interesting because the market is still not closed. So there still could be some changes and some players moving out, moving in. One name that really pops into a lot of mind is Luca Pandolfi. Will he stay or will he go? A lot of goals scored for Cittadella since signing, yet will he stay in Serie C or will he try to find a team in Serie B is still undetermined. He is on the squad list for the jersey numbers. He is number 98, so changing from number 7 to 98, so interesting stuff there. But we'll keep you updated. And as of right now, Cittadella, let's see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've currently signed 9 new players, so almost enough to fit a team, but it has been quite spread out. Like you said, just recently signing Zanelati, the goalkeeper. You got some center backs in Gatti, Rodolfi, and left back Crialese. Sorry, I'm. This is the first time I'm really reading these names out loud. Most of the time I'm just writing them or reading them, but this is the first time because, like I said, we're still kind of getting back into this podcast momentum. But Barberis is definitely the big signing, I think, this window, or so far at least. And then you got Anastasia up front, the striker from Trento, and then you got your strikers Bonino, Gravaba on the right, and then Gadini, who comes from Arezzo, on the left, and once again Anastasia up front, likely to be paired up with Davide Dio, who is expected by a lot of people to have an important season for Cittadella. But that's enough talk about the market, about the roster. Let's get you ready for what you've been waiting for, and that is the match against Ravenna this upcoming Sunday, August 17th at 6 p.m. CET. That's a 12 p.m. kickoff time here in the United States on the East Coast at the Stadio Bruno Benelli in Ravenna. Now, big news here coming out yesterday was the live streaming situation. Now, Serie C, the Coppa Italia Serie C, doesn't have live broadcasting from this round to, I think it's the round of 16 when they start live streaming all the games on Sky and Now TV. But this round there will be 3 games that will be broadcasted live on Now TV, and one of those games is Cittadella. So Ravenna Cittadella will be live streamed on Now TV. So if you want, you could go get the sport package. You will find that, and you should be able to get the game. Now, once again, Sky is the carrier for this league for Serie C, and Now TV, their streaming partners, is going to be showing every single game of the Serie C campaign. So that is the one to watch. There's going to be no DAZN, no Amazon in this round. It is just Sky Sport for Serie C content. Now, Cittadella, luckily for them, they are one of the 3 games to have their games broadcasted on Now TV and Sky this weekend. The other games include Lumezzane and Inter U23, so that's on Saturday night. So if you want to go, maybe we will scout the teams, because those are 2 teams that are in Cittadella's group. And then later on Sunday, you have, I think it is Catania and, Catania and Crotone. That's the other match. So that's on Sunday, a little bit after Cittadella's game. But Cittadella, or I should say Ravenna Cittadella, live streaming 6 p.m. European time on Sunday, August 17th. Now, here's the thing. Once again, we are in August. We are in the very early stages of the season. And given that Cittadella has a new coach, has a new league, really, a lot of new players, has moved on from some players that have been here for a while, and has really contributed well in Serie B, I have no idea what to expect. Even I have no idea even how should I say this? I guess I had some bit of an idea of what the season was going to be like last season and the year prior, just given how the previous seasons went and how Cittadella kind of operated in Serie B. But this season, in this particular game, I have no idea. And I think it's going to be one of those games where if Cittadella wins, great. If they don't, then I think we'll just get to see what this team is like. This is kind of a feel-out match, I'd say. And this is a good opportunity for Iori to see who fits well into his system and who really kind of, how should I say this? Really, like I just said, plays well in his system, and who can be the real game changers in the regular season. And I don't know if Cittadella is going to prioritize this cup, because if you win this competition, you do get a bye into one of the rounds in the Serie C promotion playoffs. So regardless of where you finish in the table, you do get an automatic promotion playoff spot in if you do end up winning, and as well as a trophy. It would be nice for Cittadella to win a trophy that they did come so close to winning last time they were in Serie C back in 2016. So it's going to be interesting to see. But like I said, if they lose, I don't think it's really the end game for them, because I think they're really just focusing on having a strong campaign. But as the tournament progresses, I think you are going to see possibly Cittadella taking this more seriously, as the other teams will, as the tournament progresses, and you have a real good shot of making the final and possibly winning a trophy in this case. But a little bit about the Coppa Italia Serie C. Once again, so this is the first round of the tournament. So really, it is the round of 64. Only teams participating in Serie C. Cittadella, for the first time in a long time, are not playing in the actual Coppa Italia, the Coppa Italia Frecciarossa, with all the Serie A, Serie B teams. This is exclusively only for Serie C. If they do win this game, they will advance to the second round, which is the round of 32, which will be played in late October. Now, if this game finishes as a draw after 90 minutes, it goes straight to penalties, so you won't need to worry about extra time, or in this case, Iori doesn't have to worry about tired legs or fatigue in this case, because it is the first competitive game of the season. I remember actually last season when Cittadella played Sassuolo in the Coppa Italia, the very first game, it did feel like a preseason game, because just both teams were really gassed towards the end of it. It was hot. It was, a low attended crowd. So you may be expecting more of the same, but like I said, I have no clue. I definitely do expect some of these teams, and in this case Cittadella and Ravenna, to be a little bit slow out of the gates, just given their fitness level, still kind of getting back into that routine. 6 p.m. it's going to be cooler, but it still can get pretty hot at that time. So the heat might play a factor, even though I have not checked the weather for Ravenna, so maybe one of our listeners could check and possibly report on that. But a little bit about Ravenna, because I usually at this time I say how Ravenna is doing, or how this team is doing in the tournament or in this league, how their record is, what the history is. But once again, this is the first game of the season, so I can't really say much, because this is the first competitive game for both sides. But Ravenna were winners of the Coppa Italia Serie D last season, and they did win the playoff in their Serie D group, and they are in Serie C for the first time since 2021. And interesting thing, they did get ripescato, as they call it in Italy. They didn't win their Serie D group, which gets you automatic promotion to Serie C. Instead, what they did was they won the playoff in that little in their league, which gave them a chance to get promoted if one of those teams in Serie C either folded, or went bankrupt, or got double relegated, whatever happened. So they were able to benefit from that, and they are in Serie C for the first time since, like I said, 2021, where they went bankrupt, and they created, I think it was a Phoenix Club, but I'm not sure on that, as I usually come into this podcast pretty prepared, but this time I'm not. And even I, not just the players and staff, but I am still quite brushing off the summer rust, as we've taken a break from podcasting for a while, and I'm still kind of trying to find my groove. So this is the first appearance in the Coppa Italia Serie C since losing to Roberto De Zerbi's Foggia in 2016. Once again, this goes straight to extra time, no penalties. Winner will advance to the round of 32 in October to possibly face Rimini. I believe that is the next opponent for Cittadella, as the draw commenced a few weeks ago, and I believe Rimini was the next opponent, but don't correct me on that, or don't quote me on that. So but we will learn more information after the games are over and seeing what this comes, because the next Sunday is Cittadella's opening game in Serie C against Virtus Verona in Verona. And then that following Friday, which is the 29th, they are at home to Alcione Milano in their first Serie C home game of the season. So lots to look forward to in these next few days for Cittadella. The season is finally commencing. Listen, I have no idea what to expect in this game. If I have to make a prediction, I think that's what I'm going to start to do this season, make a prediction that's likely going to be wrong, but it's still fun to do in this season, just to add a little bit of fun to this podcast, so it's not just me giving information out. I think Cittadella win. I think they win on penalties. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Let's say Anastasia scores on his debut, and they win in penalties 4-3, let's say. So we'll have to see who starts in goal, but either Maniero or Zanellati saving the penalties, or Ravenna missing the penalties to advance to the round of 32. So that's my prediction. Let me know your prediction in either the comment section or on one of our Instagram posts, or just direct message us and tell us our predictions. So that is kind of it for this episode. I don't have anything else really to add. Once again, Cittadella taking on Ravenna in the first official match of the season, the Coppa Italia Serie C first round, Sunday, August 17th, 6 p.m. CET as your kickoff time at the Stadio Bruno Brunelli. That's 12 p.m. kickoff time. Sky Now TV, that is where you could watch it. One of 3 games that is going to be broadcasted live this weekend on Sky and Now TV. So go get that subscription and go watch the game. If you're going to the game, stay safe and have fun. And we will see you next week talking about this game, whether or not Cittadella advanced or not, and looking forward to the season opener against Virtus Verona. But for me, that's going to be it. Thank you for listening. Please go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, CittaCalcioUsa, and as always, CittaCalcioUSA.com for news, articles, insights. We got the match preview up tomorrow. That's on Saturday, so we will know more on who's available for the game on what. So, and Manuel Iori's supposed to talk, so we will keep you updated on his press conference. Once again, CittaCalcioUSA.com is where you could find it. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week, and as always, Forza Citta. Thank you for listening to the CittaCalcioUSA show. If you liked it, please share and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CittaCalcioUSA. See you next time, and remember, Forza Citta.